What do you do? What do you do? What it is? This is your boy Pocho1 of the Pocho Live podcast. I am right here with my boy Takeoff Little A. Thank you for being in the building with me, my boy.
Thank you, my boy.
For sure, for sure. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging in there, getting used to this thing again, you know?
Yeah. I know I feel you on that, man. So, how does it feel to be free and out here outside again?
Yeah, it feels good. I'm right here parked at a little halfway house in LA, about right here in Van Nuys. It's cool, like I ain't all the way home yet, but I'm just here for 3 months. But I mean, breathing fresh air and not being in the cell, this shit's dope.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, well, I was in one in El Monte. Shout out to everybody in El Monte.
Yeah,
Had me
for
outside
sure, for
my
sure.
comfort zone, but at the same time, they all made me feel at home, man. So it was good.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Well, I'm cool friends with the people from the food community, bro. And I heard at first I saw the image, and then I was like, oh, this probably kind of reminds me of somebody like me. And then I heard the music, and the music was good. And then I was, oh
Yeah,
shit, what's going on with the brother? He might have a story. He might have something going. So I feel
yeah,
like I
for
can
sure.
sense like fools that they're rapping about this, but they got a lot kind of going on with them.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
one of the things I wanted to get into, one is how I always started is who are you, where are you from, and what do you do?
Well, my name's Takeoff. I'm from Santa Maria, California, Santa Barbara County, the 805. I've been rapping since I was a little kid. I started like writing my own lyrics. Like I ain't even gonna stunt. It was right after I was watching fucking Get Rich or Die Trying. I was like 9 years old, and I remember I fucking did school and everything, and then I was watching that shit like 2, 3 times. Or I was watching it the whole day. And shit just really motivated me to rap. I don't know why. And ever since then, I started kicking up raps and all that shit. And then I started fucking around with the homies when I was like 12, and started getting arrested like at 13. And I always write raps in there, but the first time I officially hit a studio was when I was like 16 years old, and I just been doing it ever since.
Hell yeah. Um, I was actually born in Oxnard, bro. So shout out to the 805.
Oh
Actually,
yes,
my
sir.
bad. I was born in Santa Paula, but I lived in
Yeah,
Oxnard. We just didn't make it
yeah,
back to Oxnard in time.
that's all the 805 right there, though.
Yeah, hell yeah. Nah, man, for sure. I got love for that area. I always liked it because it was like its own spot, but then you could get to LA when you need it, but at the same time you could be in your own space. You feel me?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, tell us a little bit about growing up in Santa Maria. A lot of people know about the 805, but do they really?
Yeah. Well, growing up in Santa Maria it's a primarily like Mexican town. Like it's a lot of raza right there, and it was cool. Like I would always kick it growing up, like on the south side with the homies, and then I started kicking it more on the west side as I got a little older. And I mean, it's cool, man. A bunch of fields and shit. Little fairs that we get like twice a year, and it's cool, man. It's been expanding a lot these past like 5, 10 years. It's been getting a lot bigger, and they've been like adding a bunch of shit. But I mean, it's been cool. I grew up with 3 sisters, man. I got some brothers, but they're from my dad's side, so they didn't live with me or nothing. So I grew up with 3 sisters. So that should tell you I was never home. I ain't trying to kick on my sisters like that.
Hell
So I was just always just in the streets since little. So
yeah.
it's just been like
Where
that.
are you? Where are you in your siblings? Oldest, youngest, middle?
I'm the baby boy. I'm the only boy too, man.
Ah, damn. So your dad had a bunch of girls and then had you?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Right
Yeah,
on,
my
right on.
mom. I was raised just by my mom. Like a lot of us pops fagged off and fucking dipped off to Mexico and shit. But my mom's the shit. She's everything to me.
Hell yeah. I'm a mama's boy too, my boy. I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And when you
I'm
came
lucky,
outside,
man.
how'd you catch the whole music vibe? Did you kind of know that was there, or did it come later in life? Like for me, I'm a professional photographer. That shit didn't hit me till I was like 25, but there were like little signals when I was younger.
Nah, look, um, to be real, this is exactly how it went down. So, like I told you, I was rapping since I was little, and once I was with the homies, like my shit was like super like gangster, like super gang banging, like this dirty shit. You know what I'm saying? And I actually like I kind of stopped rapping like around 17 or 18 because I was like, damn, like none of the homies from the hood like at the time, they wouldn't really rap that good, you know. Like nobody that I fucked with, you know, because I always wanted to be like at least a little hard, you know. And then I don't like that super corny shit, you know.
Yeah.
And so I put the mic down a little bit because at that time, like I was so like growing up to Tupac to where it's like 16 verses, eight verse hooks, like 3 verses every song, like Mando. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I would write a bunch before I got into the wave that a lot of songs are 2 verses. Some songs are even 1 verse nowadays, you know. And so I was knocking them back like that. And at one point I was like, damn, like this shit is getting too heavy. Like I don't even think I want to do this shit like that. And it's funny because I be getting a lot of love on those songs. Like they've been on up on the net for like 8, 9 years, but they got like 100K, 150, nothing, 120 or something. You know, not major, but it's still cool. You know, just to see that because those songs I wouldn't even promote. Like all this shit I do now, I definitely promote. I go to like how you see me from the food community. Like I do all that shit, and that's how I do my work now. But back then I wouldn't share it with nobody, just the foods that I'm like hanging out next to. You know, and then so like I said, I put the mic down for a little bit, and then out of nowhere, the homies, we had this little thing going for a little bit. We got it together. It was called Dirty Nickel Entertainment, and it was hard. Like I saw the homies drop a song, and I was like, damn, like you niggas go crazy. Like what's the word? Like let's get this cracking for sure.
Mhm.
And we started going up right for a little bit. But then situations occurred, and like you know what I mean. I started doing my shit on my own, and then one of the dudes that was there when we started it, he became a little bitch and PC'd up in prison. So we just backed off on, you know, and I just been pretty much independent ever since, you know.
Hell
And
yeah.
once I hit like 20, 21 or 22, like I don't. It's not the same for every artist. Some people are blessed and fucking they barely make a song and they hit or whatever, but for me, like I really seen when like I felt I got better at writing music. You know, it wasn't like I just felt it. I felt it in my fucking blood. Like I'll wake up like at 5 in the morning before work and I'll just hit the blunt and I'll just fucking start writing music like some cool shit. You know, some of the stuff that are a lot of the music videos that I got out. You know, and I was
Hell
going
yeah.
hard as fuck, all 2020. You know, and then I fucking caught my case and then I was parked for 2 years.
Oh damn. And how's that been? You know what I mean? Like sometimes we like get in our own way, or you know what I mean, we make it harder for ourselves. Or I always tell the homies, you know, like you gotta kind of event once you get into music, you gotta really, I don't know, you could speak to this maybe, but you gotta really decide which one you're gonna do. You know, because it's hard to
Yeah,
kind of, and it's that middle ground, right? It's that awkward stage where you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but at the same time, when you're starting to do music, in my opinion, bro, your hope, like you're getting excited, like whoa, I can like have a life. And so once
yeah,
you start
yeah,
feeling that way, like you can't really be in the streets the same because you're not at like cold and calculated at the same, because you're becoming kind of artist, you're becoming more creative, a little bit more open. And
yeah. A little more business.
how do you navigate those waters, bro?
Fuck, honestly, that shit, it's just so easy to be distracted, especially when you've been kicking it since you were little, you know? And like I could do it straight. It's just when I start fucking up like bad, like on like popping pills or shit like that, like that's when like my mind gets too hazy, you know? And the best fucking thing that I could think of is just keep all that shit at bay, you know? Like try not to kick it with as much people because at the end of the day, like, yeah, they could be from your block or whatever, but they ain't all your homies, you know. Like you could usually count your people on your hand, you know what I mean? Who's really your
I say
partners, you
that all
know?
the time, man.
And that's a fact, you know. Like some of my boys ain't even from my city, but they on my hand for sure, you know. But if you could navigate that good and keep shit at bay, like you should be all right with anything you try to get at, you know.
Yeah, bro, because that's like how I look at. I'm getting older, but I'm in my late 30s, and it's like I grew up in the 90s when it was cracking. You feel me? But at the same time, like I knew when to be a grow up and be a man, bro, and like not just stick in your region, bro. Like eventually you're gonna have to come out of your region, right? Say you're in the 805, you say you kill it in the 805. Well, eventually you got to go to the 213. Eventually you got to go up to the
Yeah,
415,
facts.
and you want to get love in the Bay. You don't want to be hated in the Bay. You know, you want to get that love. So it's like, especially with our people and location, I just really believe that music, honestly, can open us up to at least be like, hey, that's for the streets and this is for this. And let's just all make money. Let's fuck these bitches. Let's make these
Yeah,
babies. Let's have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, let's
yeah,
have some
yeah,
fun, bro.
yeah, for sure. That's on point right there. Yeah, I definitely want to go LA bound for sure. Like I know I get a decent little love like in my city, like I be getting love in my city. I be getting love in like Santa Barbara and shit like that. And you know how like on when you got a business account on like Instagram, you know how it shows you like where people is fucking with you, like what city they're from. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I be getting a lot of love like from like Oakland and shit, and then I be getting a decent amount from like Los Angeles and shit like that. But I definitely want to go southbound once I get my paper right and get the music going cool. Like that's definitely the landing spot right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to go to LA no matter what, but it's just cool that you'll be able to get. Are you surprised that you get a little love in the town in Oakland,
Fucking yeah, that shit is kind of trippy, you know.
right?
But fucking when I was like, I remember sometimes when like some fools try to tell me what my style was like they always try to, I've always heard like a Bay Area type style, you know. So I mean, I guess it don't surprise me that much, you know.
Yeah, there's actually like a little wave, and also in Bakersfield where people are getting a little bit of some of their even Peso in LA said that he got a lot of his little sweat, some of his shit from that Bay, the Northern
Yeah, yeah.
California rappers and everything, and
No,
that's why
yeah,
I'm just
this shit
trying to.
nuts.
I was born in the South, raised in the North, and then I moved back to LA when I was 18, and so it's like I've lived on both sides, and there's good people everywhere, bro, and there's weirdos everywhere, and it's like I really believe like that we can come together on some like real man shit, just on real man, real artist, real professional, sir, like just on some gentleman shit, like keep your gangster gentlemanly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
Real quick, and then another one is how did you find out about the food community, and what do you think about them?
When did I find out about him? I think it was shit. I can't remember for sure, but it was like 3 years ago, and like they were putting shit out, and I started following them. I think when they only had like 30 or 40,000 followers, like around there. And then like I was always like interactive with the page, you know. And then one day I messaged bro, and I'm like, hey, like how much is it for you to share one of my posts, you know? And then he gave me the ticket, and I was like, for sure, I got you, bro. And then I was like, send me the cash app, and then he sent me the cash app, and ever since then, like I worked with him uh consistently, that whole squad. Like man, they look out tough, you know. Like I remember when I was doing it cool, like I said in 2020, like my following is not big, but it went up like 2,000 followers in like a month or something like that, you know. And I got some decent traffic on my page too from them, so they're definitely like a page that I'll always work with and show love to, you know.
Hell yeah, I mean that's how I found you, and sometimes when you're trying to find people, it's like, well, the story about me, bro, is I used to have a cracking ass page in the pandemic, but like everybody, I lost it. I had like 22K, all original followers, no
Yeah,
buys,
yeah, yeah.
none of that. It all
That shit
matched up.
weak.
I
Yeah,
was getting like 2,000 likes over, you get about 10%. Um, but they took that shit, so I gave up. I didn't give up, but I was just like, man, I don't know. It took a lot out of me, and I was like, fuck, should I start back? But I was like, man, if I start back, I'm gonna start back on YouTube and just go slowly, enjoy myself. But I made it. I mean, because I was at like 2 or 3 thousand, bro, like where I'm at now, and I just built that shit. But I was doing interviews every day, just going hard. But the other
yeah.
thing
That's
about
what's up.
YouTube is like we'll be able to Google this interview, and you can't Google Instagram interviews. So I'm like, it's cool. You do build up an Instagram following doing the lives, but I feel like this is more built for legacy, like just to because
Yeah, yeah.
I want to catch artists when they're still on the come up, bro. Because once we get up there, we can say we did it together. You know what I mean? And I want to be
Hell
able to, like,
yeah.
yeah, I fuck with that nigga, like
Yeah,
right
yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning when he's in a halfway house, nigga.
That's what's up, nigga. Shit, I can't wait. I hope that shit go down just like that, you know.
Hell yeah, my homeboy, man, he was Mr. 14th Street. He's from Long Beach, man. I interviewed him while he was in the hospital, bro, after getting shot up.
Oh
So
no shit.
yeah, but it's just like getting in there and getting in the real story, you feel me? And then later on looking back on it too, like, hey, this is how far we came. So we'll be able to look at this interview and say in a little bit a while from now, we'll be able to look back and see where we came from.
Yeah, that shit sick. This shit like this is always dope, bro. I love all this
Yeah.
shit.
Hey, so these are just, and you do comment as much as you want. What do you think about kind of like Swifty Blue and all that kind of checking in LA and all that kind of stuff? How you feel about that? I mean, I know it's a joke, but at the same time.
Well, look, I just I met a dude when I was right there, like a real ass nigga, like real nigga from Southside Paramount, and he told me some things about Swifty Blue. Like, I mean, I didn't see nothing like on paper or nothing, but he was telling me some shit, and I just got no comment about that. I think niggas just rapping in the studio. You know, that's just how I look at it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean
You
that's
know,
even what we want. I want to get people's point of view because generally, even like that, even like that I don't really have a point of view because I mean, you know what I mean. How I see it is, I mean, he's probably from somewhere with a little grouping of people, and I don't even get into any of those politics because they're not mine. But I do think he can make some hit music. I think he should stick to rapping. You know what I
no,
mean, and
yeah, yeah,
keep all
he's art.
that. Yeah, I just think he's a good enough artist that he doesn't need to make a mockery or like he doesn't need to like do all the social media stuff. I think his music's already good enough. I feel like you got to do that when your music's not good enough. But I feel like he has pretty hard music, so why do
Yeah,
the extras? And do you think it's well?
yeah.
Let me just ask you this: do you think it's extras, or do you think that's really how he is? If you can answer that,
Well, like
like,
first
is it
off,
a
yeah,
marketing scheme, or is that really how he is, kind of thing? That's what I'm curious.
I just like I said, I don't want to be seeming like a comadre. Just from what the bro told me, like a lot of that shit ain't vouched for, you know. But I don't know, you know. I ain't from there, you know, so I ain't trying to
Yeah,
speak like that. All I can say is the homie that told me is a certified real ass nigga, you know, like no cap at all.
yeah,
And his music's dope though. Swifty shit, he be getting way better too. But fucking the thing that I noticed, bro, is like a lot of these dudes, like they act super hard and they act this and that, and they talk about checking in and whoop de whoop, but like then like they get busted, and like little do you know, like those fools are SNY, they're PC'd up, like all this shit that they're talking shit about, like they're right there, like you know, like that's just the shit that's bogus to me, you know. Well, I did my time, I just did it in the feds, but I was definitely on the right side the whole time. I did everything accordingly how we got to, you know, as a soldier in this shit. And a lot of fools say that they do that, and then you hear otherwise, you know, and it's like, bro, like why you gotta even act like that, you know?
yeah. I mean, my whole thing is most G's I know would never ask you to check in. You check in because you kind of want to check in, you know? Like if I go somewhere, say if I was going to go to Santa Maria, I would check in with you, bro. Not because I feel like I need to, because it's the right thing to do. And why not?
It's
You know what I
just,
mean?
it's all
I
love,
always, I,
yeah.
always, I always check in, but it's not because anybody forces me. It's just the thing that G's do. You respect, you know, it's like a salute, you know, that's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
for
I never
sure.
met nobody that told me like, "Hey, you gotta check in." Though that shows you that's not like you gotta be a humble gentleman in
Yeah.
this shit, and especially in the streets, bro. You gotta be a gentleman because if not, the streets always win, bro. You gotta stay in your lane.
Yeah, but the streets will make you fucking start acting a certain way, and then sometimes you ain't even really trying to do that shit, you know? You get
Yeah,
caught up. I think people get caught up in the clout like crazy, like
I do
for
too,
real,
bro. Because once
for
they see
real.
that you can argue and then you make so much, it's like fuck, they get addicted to arguing. Like I could in my interviews, I'm no the reason why a lot of people respect me, bro, is I ask the questions, but I don't go, you know, where it's like I'm putting you on the spot where like you know how I asked that question, I kind of hit you softly with it, kind of gave you
Yeah,
some room to navigate in there instead of just like try to make you on the spot. I could do all kinds of things with my skills as a interviewer, you know, but I don't do that to hurt my people. I want to tell our story, and if that even if it doesn't give us as much views, at least we'll it's how you do things. We'll do things like G's, you know what I mean, and get
yeah,
ahead
yeah,
little by little, but we keep going the right way. Like you said, you did everything in prison right, and now you're at a halfway home. You're gonna do everything right at the halfway home, and you're gonna get free so you can be with your people. And I really
yup,
believe that it's how you go about things.
yeah, yeah. That's a fact for sure. All the game plan is for me right now is obviously when you get busted, like especially if you're doing something or if like chicks are fucking with you or whatever the fuck, you know, they always comes with all this hate. Like even with the music, like people be swearing like, you just do little music videos, and sometimes people be thinking you're famous, and it's like, no, you're far from it. Like, man, I don't get paid for none of that. Like, that's all my own income. And obviously, then when you get busted, like everybody starts talking shit about you, like this and that. They always want to say that you're telling. They always want to say this, but with no proof. You know, they got no proof to back it up, and so I do get that shit. I'm not gonna lie, it gets under my skin a little bit sometimes, but like at the end of the day, like I got my shit. You know, I got my PSR with me right here and all that. But what was I gonna say that? The game plan is not to get caught up in all the people that I heard was trying to talk shit. The game plan is to get out from this halfway house, do my little parole thing, hopefully get off as soon as I can, and then really go just full throttle. But during that whole time, just write. Like when I was busted, I probably wrote not as much as I could have, but I wrote like 20, 30 songs, which in my opinion, that's just a lot. You know what I mean? Because when I drop a song, I don't um I don't just YouTube it. You know, like I could get the beats off YouTube, but I definitely hit the producer up, and I get the lease and all that shit, so I could drop it on iTunes, Spotify, like do all that shit, you know. So 20 tracks, you know, man, that's a lot, you know. Like you don't see artists just dropping 20 songs like nothing, like in a month or something like that, you know. But fucking yeah, that's just the plan right there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people now they don't really even make albums, you know. They just do like they'll do a single, put a
Yep,
visual, and keep it pushing. And I get it because it's like we're
yep.
so ain't nobody gonna sit around for a whole album really unless they really love you.
Yeah, that's a
So,
fact right there, bro. That's a fact. That's what was my whole game plan. I was doing single after single, and then I was actually trying to keep up with. You know who really gave some fucking big game on independency is Russ. I know you know who Russ is.
oh hell yeah, I fuck with that
Bro,
fool. I
that
listen to that
nigga
fool in the
gave some
gym
game.
even all by
That
myself or
nigga,
whatever. That song I did it
yeah.
by myself or whatever.
Hey, bro, that fool said one time like this. He said he was giving a video about like the like say you
You
get
look like you could be
a
related to
contract.
that fool. Both of us.
Hey, they be saying shit like that. I was hearing that shit in there, and that fool said that independent artists like trust me, like you think $1 million contract is this and that, but all the expenses that come with it. He said if you're an independent artist, he said that what he did for 2 years, he said he dropped a single every week for 2 years straight. And I was like, damn, that's hard as fuck. Like that's what I was trying to go for. I was probably dropping a single like once every like 2 weeks, week and a half, you know, during the time I was out before I got arrested. And I definitely fucking got some game from him. So shout out to Russ, you know?
Hell yeah, he also got me. I actually got that too because shit, he was doing that shit all the time, and I just figured like, man, that's how I started doing my interviews. Like, if I'm gonna do it, like, just be consistent, just keep going with it. But at the
Yeah,
same
that's the
time,
biggest
life
thing.
happens and all kinds of shit happens, right? Like you said, you got that. My page got took down, and that made me like, man, do I really want to start all over again? And but then I'm like, I love doing this. I love connecting. Plus, I'm a photographer and videographer, so a lot of the artists eventually I'll work with
Yeah,
down the line. You know what I mean? So it kind of makes sense to like interview them. I always look at how I can like make more than one income. So this is a way of broadcasting our arts and who we are, and then other people will find out. And naturally, like I never do any kind of commercials for my photography or anything. I get a lot of business from Facebook, but like I just put myself out there. I put my work out there, and people I get calls basically every day or every other day to do some kind of work eventually. You know, so it's all
yeah, yeah.
about
That's it.
networking and being open, bro.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
For sure. How like do you write? Do you just spit it from the dome?
Now,
what's your creative process like?
yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna stunt. Like I could freestyle once in a great while, but really my bread and butter is writing. You know, I gotta be like isolated and then just fucking have the beat rolling and then just start catching the vibe, and then that's when I start creating what I do. You know.
Hell yeah! Did you know like that you could do it? Because I knew at a young age I couldn't.
I I think like yeah, yeah. I think yeah. I wasn't never discouraged, and then plus the homies will always gas me up. Like my real boys, like they've been
Yeah,
gassing me up since I was little. Like shout out to them for real. Like they always tell me like, bro, you got it, you got it. And then sometimes I'll be like, nah, bro, I don't. You tripping? And be like, bro, you better stop all that. And I'll be like, all right then. You know, they get me all happy and shit, and I just keep it pushing. You know.
that's funny you said that, bro. Because so I wasn't really gonna do this thing no more, man. I just was like, you got to spend all this time, the views, this and that, all the things that discourage you, on things.
Of
And I'm like,
course,
but we
a million
forget,
things.
like, even Joe Rogan, bro. It took him 10 years to get his deal, and he was already famous when he started his podcast. He was already famous. Still took him 10 years to actually really create like on his level because he was already making a lot of money other places to say like this is what I'm gonna do. So a lot of people don't see the struggle. Like that's another thing I was gonna
Oh
ask because I was questioning myself, bro, and then like I had to do like fuck the pandemic. I had to do whatever it took, like seasonal work. I did some UPS, bro. I was serving
yeah.
packs in the hood too, like in the hood, and people, workers, men, like plumbers and guys that work on Mr. Rooter or Robin Rooter. I don't know, like fools that just work in the middle of the day. They're like, bro, they were like surprised to see me, but they're also like, man, bro, just so you know, like I used to listen to your podcast like without even seeing the visuals. Sometimes I wouldn't comment or anything, but I was listening, bro. Like, and we forget. Sometimes people might not comment or follow, but a lot of people are watching. And so I just got affected by them saying, "Hey, bro, like do your shit." You know what I mean? Like I fuck with
For
what
real.
you're doing and who you're interviewing because most people aren't interviewing. Like they want to interview all the famous people, but once they're famous, bro, that shit's easy. It's not don't even matter no more.
Yeah, yeah, bro. That shit. man, the power of words is huge, bro. So I was sitting I was in CDC for a year in San Bernardino. That's what it was. It was a state
Oof.
and fed inmate spot, and there was some dude from Rialto. He's a crip from No Love. I'd be like, man, like I'm getting too old, because I mean I'm only 26 years old, which obviously is young, but like you see like the rappers that be coming up, like they're usually young, they're usually like 18, 19, 20, 21. But he had told me, like, yeah, he was fucking with my shit, when I be spitting, and I'll be like, yeah, yeah. He'll be like, damn, bro, like, uh, don't get discouraged, bro. He brought up Rick Ross. He said, Rick Ross was like 33, 34, or something like that when
Yep.
his first song came
Facts.
through. When what was it?
Facts.
The every day I'm hustling. Yeah, he was telling me that all that shit, and then he would just pipe me up, because I'll be like, damn, this fool's right, like I gotta stop thinking I'm old when I'm not that old. You know what I'm saying?
And who gives a fuck? I mean, you gotta live this life, so you might as well do it whenever. I mean, 40,
Yeah,
50,
that's
60,
true.
it don't matter.
Yeah.
If you're having fun, bro, trust me, if I could rap, I probably would. The only thing I see now is that it's just the question I had also is how do you feel about, like they say it's dangerous to be a rapper. Now I think it always was, but at this stage in the game, like you just saw what happened to the homies guy on 6th Street Bridge. He got
Yeah, I
murked
saw that.
by I'm trying to remember the name of the artist. Fucking
I think
Crook One.
Crook One. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't him, but it was his homie, rest in peace. And I used to live over there off of First Street. And shout out to Boyle Heights, but it is what it is. Like, how do you feel about that? I mean, I know for us, we all grew up in the streets, so we're kind of used to it. But at this point, bro, like people know, even when you're saying you're just coming up, in the end, bro, they all see you and you don't see them, a lot of them. So how do you navigate those waters? Do you think about that, especially as somebody that grew up the way we grew up?
Honestly, bro, like, and I get all that, but in reality, I just look at it like your fate's already written. Like you're going, if it's your day, it's your day. So I definitely don't let that hold me back or nothing like that. You know.
Do you move different, like just in this new environment, kind of, or is it kind of you've always kind of moved the same? I mean, I've generally moved. I've always been kind of somebody that doesn't like my back to the window. I'm kind of aware of all my surroundings. Even now, as a guy with I'm starting to get gray hairs and shit, like nobody's looking for me. You know what I mean? But I still kind of carry myself. How are you like that too?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, growing up, when you're from the hood, they always tell you to watch your back, and you're always looking over your shoulder and shit like that. And I guess I still be doing that just off habit.
Yeah, bro. What's crazy is, bro, I'd be like, shit, stop me, motherfucker. You can stop me now. I'm legit, nigga. Like, I don't give a fuck if you stop me.
Man,
Like, cause
nah, bro, I hate that shit. The cops, they always fuck with me because I mean, I've been in the system like my whole life, like on probation and shit like that. And anytime I get pulled over, bro, I'm always getting sat on the curb and looking like I fucking did some big old thing, and they just fucking fuck with me and look through my shit crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Stash
man.
spots, that's what I recommend. Get a fucking stash spot for real.
I know they got my homeboy has his trapper boxers, bro, where he has like this little pocket in his trap in his pants in the boxers. I don't know if you've ever seen those where they trap, little
For real?
compartments. But yeah,
That's crazy.
but man, I'm just happy that I'm not even, what I mean? I haven't been on any. I just went over to juvenile hall because I run a security company too, but I do like a security that's not based on kind of, how there's like the bully security and they try to act tough. They kind of act like cholo. They try to act gangster too. And I'm like, bro, you're supposed to be like a security, like professional. So
Yeah,
as I'm doing photography, I was like, shit, I can get paid doing security too. So why not? Plus, I
yeah,
can be like a security that gives a fuck, that fucks with everybody. It's not gonna be like a snitch or a cop
yeah, yeah,
lover. Because a lot of those fools are trying to be cops, bro. And it's like, oh, relax. Like you're not a cop,
yeah,
nigga. Like, you're supposed to just be cool. Like, so what I mean? I'd be trying to teach people how to carry themselves with respect, and how to treat people like with respect too. That's how I'm able to move around and interview different kinds of people and move around different neighborhoods all over Southern and Northern California and Texas because of how I carry myself. That I always have respect from where I'm at and I never put
mandatory.
anybody down and just try to be like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's all about respect, mandatory. I mean, I knew that already, but especially going to the system, you get another little checkup on it. Like, man, you got to be respectful. Period. Always. Like I always say, excuse me, and always say yes, sir, and no, ma'am to my elders and all that shit. Just I just gotta move. You gotta move accordingly. That's what I think.
Hell yeah! Is there anything in the rap game that you don't like?
that there ain't that much Mexicans in it. Shit, that's definitely one because I think Mexicans be going hard. Like I know some are coming up. It's definitely like our era right now, but there's got to be more. You know, like because you know the brothers been coming up forever. You know, shout out to the brothers. I fuck with a lot of their music. You know, but they've been coming up from Asian time always because they always put their people on, you know. And then you see artists like I've seen, you know, artists be like, oh yeah, like say that because you know some Latinos are doing pretty good, and when they were coming up, in interviews they're saying shit like, oh if I come up, like I'm gonna help out my people, you know, I'm gonna put my people on this and that, and then they get a little buzz, and then they're all bougie and they don't put nobody on. It's like what's up
Yeah,
with that, you know?
I know. Like I'll even notice it. I'm like, oh, if I didn't get him now, then I ain't getting him for a while because he's gonna, fucking, I don't know, bro. It's just that the reason why I also kind of wanted to stop all this because like, how do I explain? You know, like growing up in the hood, you're already cool. You know, like all your homies are cool. Like we're all cool. You don't gotta, like, I'm not gonna go kiss your ass just to get an interview or like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna play.
mandatory.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play the whole game with you. If you ain't fucking with me, if I'm not followers, I have enough followers for you, then that's where your mind's at. You know, you're not seeing because look, you could have more, even more than me, but you could look at it an opportunity that like he's gonna ask me questions about what I'm doing in my life. It's gonna help me anyway, so why not? You know, but
Yep.
I understand a lot of artists get worried that somebody's gonna ask them some crazy ass questions and they're gonna be put on the spot. But I try to show everybody like that how I run my interviews. I try to keep it very honorable overall. And, you know what I mean? Because I looking at it like a legacy thing. Like in the future, our ancestors will see this shit. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, that's dope. That's dope. That's a dope way to look at that shit, you know?
Yeah, bro. I mean, think about it. Your ancestors. You know, you're gonna be doing a lot better in a year or two, and your people are gonna be able to look back in this interview and like, hey, yeah, that nigga got it out the mud. You feel me? Like he was at a halfway house on the come up, and look where he's at now. You know, and I like to promote that and that way of thinking. You know, that you're not gonna ever be in
Yeah,
another halfway house. I've never gone back to a halfway house since El Monte, bro. Shout out to El Monte, but I remember saying like I never want to have to break down and eat with these like how we were. It was good, but like when you're trying to be a family man, all these other things, it's like, oh, this shit is as you probably can see, the older you get, the more not lame, but like getting locked up and doing those things, right?
yeah,
It
it's
kind of
gay.
feels
That's
like
just for the
childish.
birds, man. That's just for the
Yeah,
birds. Oh
yeah.
God. Yeah, I mean, shout out to the real ones busted, but they know. My boy, I got my brother. He doing life like he knows. That shit's for the birds. He always tells me like I'm all about the hood food, but at the end of the day, like I never want to see you busted. Like this shit ain't it, bro.
Nah, bro. I
Just
mean, I
wait.
even when I got locked, I was like, I love pussy, bro. You know what I mean? I like bitches and I like being around girls that are smiling, not fools mad dogging all day. Like I was always like with the
Yeah,
business because at the period that I grew up in, you really had to be. You couldn't. There was no internet really, barely, and like, but like I was one of the popular guys that were like, fuck all this, my boy. I'm about to go play sports or I'm about to go do something different, because like the homie says, it gets old. Hell yeah, it does get old, bro. It gets old real fast too. And I'm
yeah.
also a little claustrophobic, my boy. So I'm just like,
In that
you
little
know what I mean?
cell. Huh?
And that fucking yellow light, dog. That little tungsten light, dog. I'm not trying to be in a place that feel like I'm in a plastic fucking, like you never see
Nah,
no
bro.
fresh air.
Bro, CDC right there in San Bernardino. It's just the county jail, but man, that shit is horrible. You're in 10-man cells. There's this light on the wall that when you first touch down, right? Like, say you came with from the bus from wherever you came, and you feel like oh, like you know what time of day it is because you think that shit's the sun. Like that's what I thought at first when I saw it. And then next thing you know, I like couple 3-4 hours go by, and I'm like, wait, hold up, like how's it not dark yet? You know, like what the fuck's going on? And then I start seeing it like, oh shit, this is a light. That shit was fucking with my head for like a cool week, dog. And then obviously we all adjust, you know?
Yeah, that's the problem, bro. I don't want to adjust. I was like, man, this is. I knew, bro. I knew right away. I was lucky. I'm real blessed, bro. I've never had to spend major time in as an adult at all because of what I saw as a kid. I was like, oh man. And then I got lucky. I was about to go do a little YA situation, and I tell everybody, man, if you can pay for a lawyer, get a motherfucking lawyer, bro, because these fools will, bro. These public defenders are overworked, underpaid. They are not, that they can't. They don't even have enough time to take care of you the way they need to. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that for like the state, but in the federal,
They
hell
got
no.
you
I
no
see
matter
some
what, huh?
bros, I see some dude get this lawyer for like 5 bands, right? And I met him on the bus when he got sentenced, and I had like the best public defender lawyer. Like it was a Jewish lady, like she was really pretty, you know. She was young too, and she was just fucking cool as fuck. She'll come and see me. She'll be on me. She was on point with everything. And then this dude, I see him on the bus, and I'm like, he's like, hey, you got a lawyer? I'm like, nah. I was like, you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, um, how's that? How is he? Fool? Does he pull up on you a lot? That fool told me he's seen him 3 times by the time he got sentenced. Man, I was like, man, you wasted your money, bro. Like, that's you always hear that shit in the feds, you know. Unless it's like
Oh,
a
it's a
huge
racket.
case. Obviously, if it's a huge case, it's different. But like for all the little shit, like, nah, bro, just run with it,
Yeah.
dog. You know.
It's a racket. There was a documentary called they called them monsters or something about these kids that I don't know if you heard about it, but it was about like kids getting locked up and everything. And it shows one of the guys who hired a fucking lawyer, and she just like she said
Oh,
she
I
was saying
seen
that
that. I seen that.
remember, and she says all I used to do was DUIs, but I can do this, like no big deal. And she doesn't do shit for him, dude. And he even looks at the
Yeah,
camera in the picture like, who's this lady, you know? And it's kind of heartbreaking, bro. So
yeah. It
that
was like three little homies on.
Yep, it was. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, I
it was.
remember.
Yeah, they
I
call
remember.
us monsters. It's pretty good. The light skinned dude is out. The main character, he's out
Yeah,
now.
the
He's
one
doing.
that he like shot at the whip or some shit.
Yeah,
Hit a
he
girl.
bucked
Yeah.
into a whip and then went home and played video games or whatever.
That shit's crazy. The other little dude in that shit's crazy too. He did some crazy shit. This was
Yeah,
crazy.
the little one, and then there was the more quiet one that was I think from MS or something like that in
Yeah,
MacArthur
yeah,
Park.
that fool. That little fool's crazy.
Yeah, hell yeah. When like when you're besides like, do you fear anything? Like sometimes people bring up my past, not as a bad thing, but like, oh, why are you interviewing these people or why are you doing that? And I'm like, nigga, don't, if you're not older than me, don't talk to me about nothing. You know what I mean? Because I'm a grown man and I know what I'm doing. And like, I tell other fools, you joined my neighborhood, nigga, I didn't join yours. So don't speak on
Yeah,
it. Like, I'm doing what I think's best for me and my people, you know? How
yeah.
do you navigate those kind of streets? How do you deal with any homies that might be kind of, you know, like just testing you a little bit in the sense of like, hey, homie, like, come on, you know, like big homieing you, because I can't stand that shit. Like, if you're not gonna
Nah,
help
hell
me,
nah.
shut the fuck up, or you know,
Nah,
excuse my
bro.
language.
I don't even be around suckers like that. Niggas that just
Yeah,
be hating, like you know the vibe right away when they're hating. All the older homies that fuck with me, like, they love me like full fledged. They've been loving me since I was a little homie, and just the shit that I'm doing now, like they love it too. You know, they be supporting me crazy. You know, if it's somebody that don't matter at all, it's irrelevant. Like, just fucking brush that shit off. That's it. If they really want the smoke, then that's a different fucking subject. You know.
and if they do, they're gonna come up on you, right? They're not gonna be talking anyway. So I always think like, why are we even doing this, bro? You know, you're not gonna do nothing, bro. So just stop it, right? Real G's move in silence anyway. So
Yeah, that, exactly, bro.
hell yeah. Hey, and just I'm on some simple shit. Kind of how do you deal with daily stresses? You know, I know being in there sometimes you gotta deal with a lot of people, you gotta live in the same room as people. How do you deal with just kind of knowing that this is just temporary and that you're gonna get out soon? Because I know how it feels, but in any moment, right, all you gotta do is make one or two mistakes and then you're out of there. So how do you, because a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know that world, right? And how you have to kind of every day wake up kind of strategic, you know, like I'm gonna get through, you know, I'm gonna handle this. And I know you start to relax once you're comfortable, but just for any homies that never been in halfway houses or in kind of these challenging situations, how do you survive it, or how are you surviving it?
Well, like, let me backtrack to like the being actually locked up, you know, because in the after house is different. It's cherry. Like, if you got a little get out with something, a little bit of money, get a phone or some shit, like it's cool, you know. Like a phone is a fucking getaway, bro. Especially with some internet, you know.
Hell yeah.
But when you're living in the cell, man, that shit's hard. I would talk to. I had a really good homie that I met. His name was Chris. He was from Arizona, Tucson. That fool was a cool ass dude, a straight hustler, you know. He was a homie and everything, but that fool was hella cool, bro. And I would chop it up with him a lot. Like you always find in the system, like when you're in a prison, you always find the niggas that are your boys. Like there's always somebody that is the way that you are and fucks with you. You know, they don't have to be exactly like you or anything like that, but the vibes, you know, like you
Yeah.
fuck with them, you know. And me and him used to chop it up a lot, and sometimes I'll be like, damn, it's one of those days, bro, where I'm just like, man, fuck all you niggas. Like I ain't fucking feeling none of you guys right now, you know. And whenever I get in my mode like that, I'll just go to the yard and just fucking listen to music and just like sometimes do a little workout. But the workout was mando during the week, so we're already doing that. But just get away, bro. Listen to music because in the pen you usually could have an MP3 or like a tablet or some shit. So I definitely escape with some fucking music because sometimes that's just fucking annoying as fuck, bro. And then grown ass men acting like kids, fucking grown ass men, like fucking stinking and a bunch of shit, bro. That shit was bogus, bro.
Hell yeah, man. And what music are you listening to? Like, who are some of the people you grew up listening to, and who are you fucking with recent? Like young fools you fuck. Are you fucking with anybody young?
Growing up, bro, I was definitely like fucking with like Tupac and them, like NWA and shit like that. I mean, I was already they had already been around for a while by the time that I grew up, But I would fuck with all that shit. And then when I was young though, cause I started twisting my fingers for the hood when I was like 12 years old, So I was listening to all that Chicano rap shit, I was a big fan of all that shit at one point. In my personal opinion or an experience, you go through phases of music, And I was really into that shit.
Is there
You
any
know, I
names?
I was fucking with like Mr. Criminal Heavy, fucking like Mr. Shadow, Little One from San Diego. I was fucking with like Clica 1 from Vegas. Um, let's see, like a lighter shade of brown. There's actually
Hell yeah,
a
that's
little
when I
clique
was
that was
fucking with for sure.
in my city. There was a little clique that was doing their thing for a while back in the day too, like in the '90s, and they went by CLS. I was fucking with them too. And then nowadays though, like my whole shit just changed. Like my swagger changed. Like everything changed, bro. And like I really fuck with like a bunch of like South shit. I fuck with a lot of shit up north. What really got me through a lot of shit when I was in the pen and I'll be like fucking stressing out on whatever personal issues I got going on will be like Little Dirk, Little Baby. Like them fools would go crazy, bro. Like that really just get your mind out of everything.
Yeah.
I was fucking with like Meek Mill, fucking with like T Grizzly, like Young Thug, like them fools is hard as fuck, bro. Like, and then I like a lot of Bay Area rappers, so I fuck with the ones that are like they're decent, they're famous, but they're not like huge. But like Little Pete, fucking Little Bean, Zay Bang, like all niggas like that. And obviously I fuck with YG and shit, fools like that down south, like fuck with all that shit.
Do you think Chicano rap is dead?
I can't say it's dead, bro, because like you see those fools that are like still in the game heavy, like Mr. Capone and shit, and like Criminal that are their shit is straight Chicano, right? And you see those fools like sell out fucking venues, bro, that are pretty big, dog. So I can't sit here and say it's dead, but like I definitely don't fucking rap like that. I don't be listening to that shit. But they be doing their thing. I gotta give love and respect to them for sure.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I feel like they evolved it. You know what I mean? And then I
Yeah,
think I think a lot of young people were just like that whole style kind of is kind of past. So it's like we're moving on and everything. But I feel like it's still good. We just respect them, and now we kind of build on that. And move
yeah,
forward.
yeah. 'Cause some of them been working for a long time, and as a worker, you respect hard work, and them fools definitely been working hard
Fuck,
for a
I feel
long
bad.
time
What's the
already.
vato from San Diego? That Summer Nights.
A little Rob,
Yeah, Little Rob.
yeah,
That's one of the ones I have to say that I didn't listen to a lot of Chicano rap, but that's one of them because he had kind of had a little bit of crossover with his spit. He could. Because I like
he had a
music
little
bitches
R&B
bitches
sound.
like too though. I like music I can put a song on with a bitch in the car.
Yeah. He had a little like R&B vibe for sure.
I try to tell the homies, bro, like holler at these bitches. Like make some music for these females too. And you know what I mean? Like mix it up a little. Or where it can be like a homie with his girl in the car listening to it, not just for the homies. But
Yeah,
I
nah,
know it'd be
there's
hard.
something hard at. I don't know if you ever heard that. You know what song was hard that for a chick, fucking Meek Mill, and Chris Brown and Ty
Oh,
Dolla Sign. It was whatever you need. I think that shit was
yeah.
gas right there. I'll
Hell
be fucking
yeah.
with shit like that
I
for
worked with
sure.
Chris Brown, bro. I got to work with him like a bunch of times. He's a dick to people, but it's just because he's a cool dick. It's just like when you're always dealing with people wanting so much from you, you get a little aggressive too. So I get it. And
Yeah,
people
nah,
are like,
he been
oh
famous for a long time.
yeah, and then people say, oh, why does he slide up with the Bloods when he's all old already? I kind of understood though because when you're out in the industry, it's kind of like the streets too, and you want to have somebody that's gonna hold you down. But if you're not from there, bro, I don't know. I don't know. Understand how people start getting into that after they're already in music because it's just not sustainable. Eventually, they're gonna
That's
take
weird.
take. They're gonna rob your ass probably or some kind of weird shit.
That's like the influence of music right there for sure. Like it'll make people just act like something they're not because like the way what music is and what it does, and how I see it, and I find this to be true is basically like you make the song and whoever's into it, like it's like they rap it like if it's them, you know, like like they're living that shit, you know, like
Yeah.
you're looking in the mirror, you're rapping that shit, you're like that's me, like I'm doing that shit, you know, and then next thing you know, you get caught up in shit that you really ain't about, you know.
Oh, bro, like even like there's a guy named, I don't know if you heard of him yet, American Cholo, and one of his topics, I did an interview with him, and one of his topics, shout out to him, but one of his topics was like, do you know what you're signing up for? And he said no, and I agree with him. Basically, I didn't know what I was signing up. Not that for me, I decide because I did sign up for something, I want to see it through in the sense of I don't want to drop, those words. I don't like to use a lot of those words, but I don't want to drop out. I tell people, don't drop out. Just redirect your energy, elevate. If you're a real homie from your section, your people are going to respect you elevating,
Facts.
and if you're a real one, if you're not, then then you shouldn't even be tripping anyway, because you're not really from there. But if you're
You
really
suck.
from that area, people are going to like respect your like nobody really tripped on me when I decided to go to college, bro. All my homies were happy for me. Like, hell yeah, go to Santa Monica College, dog. Like, do that, like that's right. Just come back and remember us a little. And I did.
Same thing, yeah. Same thing, yeah.
Hell yeah. Even they would even tell me sometimes like, hey, why are you even in here taking chances over here? Like, get up out of here. You don't gotta be trapping right now. So why are you even chilling? But sometimes you want to get back and smell the hood out and be right there.
Yeah, yeah. That shit feels good as fuck.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, real quick, man, any last thoughts before we get up out of here? Anything coming up in the future they should look out for?
Definitely. I'm gonna start fucking so my I don't really think I'm gonna be recording right here because I can't really get to a studio, you know, but come April, like, and I'm gonna go crazy. Like, hit the in the months May, June, July. I'm gonna drop at least like 5, 7, 8 videos. Like, I'm gonna hit that shit. I'm gonna work hard on that shit and definitely be looking for me, man. Like, for all the people that was fucking with my shit heavy, like before I went in and still rocking with me, like I appreciate you to the fullest. You know, we still 10 toes in this shit. Ain't no hoes, ain't no marks and shit, and I'm coming for sure. Like, take all the hey, I'm coming with it for sure.
Hell yeah, bro. And shout out to everybody in Santa Maria. Um,
Yes, yes.
yeah, man, everybody in the 805 all the way down to LA and San Diego, all the way up to the Bay, all the way up to the border, man. I really believe that like we should like be on this California card, bro, like on some Cali shit, like, hey man, let's be able to move wherever we want as long as we do it respectfully. Like I want, niggas to be able to move into the Bay and flourish, and then fools to go from the Bay to LA and flourish as artists. And as long as they're keeping it respectful, right? Like, let's get this money. Let's have a good time, man. Let's make some good time
Yeah,
music too. Like
yeah,
we've been locked down. We've been mad. We've been full of anger and depression, anxiety for half of our lives. Like why do that when we're trying to have fun?
yeah. For sure, for sure. I
For
agree with
sure,
you, man.
Mo. Yeah, well, I'm gonna be doing a lot of work in LA, bro, and with a kind of a bigger platform. So all the people that I kind of interview with and fuck with, bro, I'm not gonna forget, and I'm gonna take them with me when I get into my, even to like a higher platform and interviewing too. So I'm gonna fuck with you
Yeah,
on the
hell
in
yeah,
the long way. You feel me?
yeah. For real, I appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. Have a good day. Much love, everybody.
Hey,
Follow my
hey,
boy
you too, bro.
Takeoff Little A on Instagram and
Yup.
everywhere.
Take
Google
off
that
the
shit.
hey everywhere, man. Google that. Yup.
All right, brother.
All right, man. All right,
Buenas
bro.
noches. Peace.
Buenas noches.